This video is going to be about solving absolute value equations. The thing to understand with absolute value is that it is a measurement of distance. And so since absolute value is a measurement of distance, that means it will always be positive. Mathematically, we see that in that any number we take the absolute value of will always give us a positive answer. For example, the absolute value of 2 is 2. But the absolute value of negative 2 is also 2. Absolute value always gives us a positive number. And so what that means is when we're looking at an absolute value equation, a lot of times we are going to end up with more than one answer. For example, if you look at this equation of the absolute value of x minus 2 equals 3, there is some x value that when we take it minus 2 would give us positive 3. And the absolute value of 3 would certainly equal 3. But there is also some x value that when taken minus 2 should give us negative 3. And the absolute value of negative 3 would also be positive 3. So in order to solve out and find both of our answers here, what we're going to need to do is solve out effectively two different equations, a positive and negative case. So we'd solve out x minus 2 equal to positive 3, but we also want to solve out x minus 2 equals negative 3, because like we said, if we get negative 3 inside these absolute value brackets, if x minus 2 gives us negative 3, that will still give us a true statement in the end here. As far as algebra though, we really do just solve this out normally. So you would add 2 to both sides. 3 plus 2 gives us 5. I would add 2 over here, and negative 3 plus 2 would give us negative 1. If we think about that and plug these back in to our original equation here at for x, we would see that 5 minus 2 gives us 3. If we plug in negative 1, well, negative 1 minus 2 would be negative 3. And like we said, the absolute value of negative 3 is positive 3. So that is why we get two answers here of 5 and negative 1. Now let's look at a slightly more complicated example. Not too bad, just a little bit rougher. The idea is the absolute value is what's making this special, right? That's the name of this title of this video. That's the whole reason why we're having to do special things, is because the absolute value bars. They're the reason why we have to do the positive and negative case. So if I have stuff outside the absolute value bars, I want to get all of that to the other side of the equation. I want to isolate the absolute value, meaning before I do a positive and negative case, I want to go ahead and move the 5 and minus 4, the negative 4, to the other side. So to do that, I would start by adding 4 to both sides. That would give us 5 times the absolute value of x minus 2 equals 15. Because that 5 is being multiplied to the absolute value of x minus 2, I would now want to divide by 5 on both sides, giving us the absolute value of x minus 2 equals 3. Now that we have isolated the absolute value, now that the absolute value is by itself on the left side of the equation, now I'll go ahead and split up into a positive case where it equals positive 3, and a negative case where it equals negative 3. Okay, and so then it's the same as last problem was. Just go ahead and add 2, and 3 plus 2 gives us 5. Add 2 to the other side, and negative 3 plus 2 gives us negative 1. That's how you solve absolute value equations.